Hello and welcome into the fourth edition of the brand new and improved, often imitated, but never, I don't know how that phrase goes,
Duplicated.
duplicated, Liberty Ballers Hoops Hangout. I was going to say replicated. My name is Jake Fischer, as you can see with our new little icon things at the bottom, thanks to Roy Burton's technical savvy. Alongside
That's the veteran experience shining through right there.
Alongside Roy and Kyle Nuebeck, Jake Pavorsky cannot be with us this evening as he is at a family high school graduation party.
What up?
Pulling out for him, but we are good to go and moving forward with the Philadelphia 76ers having the 3rd and 10th picks in the 2014 NBA draft. But before they were able to have those picks, 200 knuckleheads got together at Miller's Philly Ale House, and we watched the lottery unfold. I got to meet Kyle there. So, Kyle, we'll start with you. What was your experience?
I mean, just the concept of all these people showing up for a really bad team for this. I mean, I love writing, but I don't know how many people actually give a crap about what we're doing. So to see hundreds of people and have people come up to you and say, "Oh, I love the site. I love what you guys are doing," and show so much enthusiasm for a team that generally has just been, it's like a kicked puppy this year. People are just making fun of them. They've been the punchline of every joke. So seeing that passion still there was really cool. And it was cool to just meet the community as opposed to just shouting at each other via text on the boards and through Twitter. So that was pretty cool.
Awesome. Roy, what you got?
Yeah, I just need to echo Kyle's sentiments on that. Like, you always wonder, who the other people are who actually go to the site and interact with us on Twitter and on Facebook and whatever have you. So just to have 200 people come out for basically the most uneventful, when I say uneventful, I'll say probably the most boring event on the NBA calendar. I mean, it's the draft lottery, which you don't even see happen. Like, the only thing you see happen is a guy pull 14 envelopes, and 14 cards out of envelopes. So for the fact that we had a couple hundred people come out, like you said, come up and talk to us, say you enjoy what we do here at Liberty Ballers, that to me was more impressive than anything that actually happened in New York last week.
Yeah, honestly, when I pulled out, I got there a little later than I wanted to because I left my house early thinking there'd be traffic on like I-76 and the boulevard getting over to Mill. I actually had more traffic in Cherry Hill before I even got to the bridge, which was BS. But once I got over,
I was expecting to maybe get like a leftover T-shirt, but by the time I got there, they were long gone.
Exactly.
All our giveaways were just. I thought we'd have some extras. Yeah. We didn't even have enough. Not even close to enough.
Yeah, not even half. Enough for half the people.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, as I pulled up, I was there. I drove my little brother, and Pavorsky, and my brother said, "Is that the there for the party?" No, I can't be. That's got to be like overflow or something. And sure enough, that room was overflowing. It was sick.
Yeah.
And the two things I'll always remember: the way the place erupted when they got the 10th pick, and the 4th pick were just out of this world awesome. Just a collection of fans who, like, you couldn't explain that to people who didn't understand it, but everyone in that room knew exactly what that meant. And then after they got 3, how the energy just dropped from the room. It wasn't a sigh. There wasn't a scream of sad. It literally just everyone was speechless.
And a lot of people fled the scene of the crime right after that. They booked it. That place cleared out pretty fast.
Yeah.
But the one thing I will say, though, is everyone's saying that the lottery needs to be fixed and the system is broken. It's not broken if you can get 200 people to go to a bar just to watch guys open envelopes. Like that is not broken.
Exactly.
The NBA is energy business first.
So just to kind of follow up. I don't mean to cut you off, but just to follow up on that. Yeah, it's not a broken system. I mean, again, there is a level of intrigue with what happens at the lottery. Whatever, it is what it is. But there is still that chance that a team like the Cleveland Cavaliers, which I guess we'll talk about in a few, can still hit 3 lottery picks in 4 years, even though they weren't necessarily the worst team or close to the worst team in the NBA last year. So again, no matter how much tanking quote unquote goes on, or how often teams actually try to lose games on purpose. It doesn't, for the most part, those teams that do that don't get the number one pick. So, I mean, I don't think the system necessarily is broken. If you ask the Cleveland Cavaliers, they wouldn't tell you what's broken.
I think Dan Gilbert was like, he's got a leprechaun hanging around, or he's been like touched by an angel or something. I don't know what he did to deserve all these number one picks. It's crazy.
Yeah. Even though I love the way the current system works, I think that level of uncertainty is kind of exciting. I did like Scott Howard Cooper of NBA.com wrote this a couple of days ago, that you break the lottery down into tiers. So the top three teams, it was the Sixers, Bucks, and Magic. There's a lottery for those three teams to get the top three. And then the next three teams, the 4, 5, and 6, there's a lottery between those. That way you don't have someone jumping from 9 to 1. You have some.
Right.
I like that idea if you're going to make any changes to it at all. But I think it's good to go. And with that, I still think that even though the Sixers dropped, there's still a chance that Wiggins could fall to them. If Joel Embiid could very well go number one after this sick workout video that came out that we'll touch on later. And Jabari Parker looked great at that workout too. He's a really great option to plug into that front line alongside Giannis and Larry Sanders. I don't know. What do you guys think? We'll start with Roy. Could Wiggins still be available?
I don't think so. I mean, I think we're all in agreement that there's the three top players, obviously Wiggins, Parker, and Embiid. And in Wiggins, you have again the uber athlete, the guy, it's a blasphemy to say, but the next LeBron or whatever have you. So you have so much hype around a guy like Wiggins, and so much athleticism with a guy like that. And then in Embiid, you have the quote unquote not classic big man, but you have the big man. He's got the good footwork. He's young. He's raw. With the right coach and the right system, you can see the potential for Embiid to be great. Like you can clearly see that he has a lot of potential to be great. So you have an uber athlete in Wiggins. You have a big man in Embiid, and then Jabari Parker kind of just I don't want to say he's a guy, but there's nothing that he does specifically that kind of stands out. Although he's probably the best player, or probably will be able to make that transition to the NBA quicker than the other two guys. But this league's all about potential. So when you have a talent like Wiggins and a big man like Embiid, I don't see GMs passing those two guys up, or any of those two guys up in favor of Jabari Parker.
Yeah, I mean, I always fall back on you can teach a guy skills and how to be better, but you can't change their genetic makeup. And Wiggins has about as good as it's going to be. Like his mom was a world-class sprinter. His dad played professionally, played for the Sixers. So, like, you see that kind of athlete at the top. I think he goes in the top two, but I'm waffling big time because at the lottery party, I was telling everyone who would listen, oh, we're going to get him at 3 still, and that's probably my own delusion. But I just can't imagine two teams passing on him. It's one thing to pass on him for Embiid because there's that kind of 7-footer that can move like he does and already has the makings of a post-game, only having played the sport for like 3 or 4 years, is so rare. So unless some medical stuff comes out, he'll go at the top, and then I think Wiggins follows right behind him. So we'll be left picking from, I guess, Parker or maybe Exum. He's the big wild card in this whole thing.
Yeah. Well, if Embiid does go number one and Wiggins is on the board for the Bucks at 2, in my mind, this is going to get very basketball PhD, no analytics whatsoever. Like this would definitely be Doug Collins' opinion. But in my mind, you can't have Andrew Wiggins and Giannis Antetokounmpo developing at the same time on the perimeter together. Because no matter what they do, if Giannis does something if he works on, for example, if he works on his ball handling and taking guys off the dribble, that's going to prohibit Wiggins from developing into a slasher and a driver from the wing as well. I think those two guys would butt heads too much in terms of their individual developments. Whereas if you take a guy like a Jabari, he can draw attention of the defense to take off that pressure for Giannis to be a number one type scorer and let him develop kind of like Kawhi Leonard has done in San Antonio. If Kawhi Leonard was not surrounded by a first option, a second option, a third option, there is no way he would have progressed the way he has in San Antonio if he was getting 15 to 20 shots a night in his first and second years in the league. There's no way it would have happened. He got eased along the way. I think bringing Parker in to Milwaukee is ultimately the best step for Giannis. And when you're drafting players, yes, you want to take the best player available, but you're bringing a guy into an organization that already has pieces in place. And Giannis is clearly their franchise focal point. Mm-hmm. So I just think you have to draft him. You have to draft with Giannis in mind. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
I think it would be kind of – sorry, Roy. I think it would be kind of a weird fit. But the only thing there is Giannis is still growing, or they're saying he's still growing. So if he gets to like 6'10"-ish, maybe that's
he's there right now. He's 6'10".
Yeah, like he could theoretically play power forward, but he would really have to bulk up. Like he's very gangly right now, so you'd have to let him grow into his body a little bit. And hinging on that is kind of tough as far as like planning your future. My thing is, I just don't know if they have enough there to really say, oh, well, we have to draft with him in mind. You don't really know who is there long term yet. You'd like to think that Giannis is going to be a big part of their plans, but you really don't know. He's so raw that it's hard to project even like 2-3 years down the line where he's going to be. So I think you take the talent there, but I definitely see the argument for Parker.
Yeah, I just want to dovetail on that. I think in just about every instance, teams will take talent, over fit, and you just kind of figure it out. I mean that's the way we've seen historically in the NBA. I mean, we've seen teams take guys who seem like similar fits, and then over the course of a year or two, trade, whichever one doesn't quite fit their system and move on. It'll be really difficult to pass up a talent, like a Wiggins or whatever at 2 in favor of a Jabari Parker, just because he might fit better with the pieces that you have now. Because again, you can always move those pieces. If you can always move, like Wiggins and Giannis don't work together, you're probably just gonna move Giannis and just build around Wiggins. I mean, that's what I would do. That's what I would do as a GM. So I really think it's probably not just the Bucks, but I think in general most teams will just draft the talented, the most talented guy, and then figure out what their plan is.
Yeah, just for me with that argument based off of fit and talent overall is we've seen it happen before where teams like the Kings have just loaded up on the best talented player available, and they end up with 7 power forwards on a 15-man roster. And even with the Magic, they keep taking these talented players. And I know Sean Hyken just wrote a thing on Sports. I haven't read it yet. It's bookmarked on my on a Chrome browser, but he said believe in the Magic. And honestly, like people are saying they could take Marcus Smart at number 5, or at number 4, or some people said that back when he was like a top prospect idea, and even Exum. I think if you take a guy so similar to Victor Oladipo, that's gonna be a struggle too. Like the Magic have also loaded up on so many guys who are similar like that as well, and they don't really have a clear plan or a clear foundation and a building foundation like the Sixers have, in a point guard and a center, and then they can fill in the holes in between. I just think that's a much more viable strategy for the future in terms of just stockpiling these talented guys. Because overall, you can say you can trade a guy later on, but it's the same concept when you trade a superstar and get back 4 players and 3 draft picks. You get so many pieces to get puzzle pieces together. It's like when you order a puzzle, it's a 500-piece puzzle, but you got 600 pieces. So in order, it's a struggle already just to get the picture together correctly. But then you have to sift through all these extra pieces that don't work. So it's a tough thing to do, and I think that's why you got to keep in mind sometimes fit over talent. Even though obviously you can't pass up on some guy who's going to be able to play 3 or 4 positions and help your team like a Wiggins could be. But moving forward, we talked about trading a little bit there. I think with time we're gonna skip Embiid's back video or dunking video because we all saw it and we all can agree he just destroyed the rim.
Well, can I just say something real quick about this? Let's not, and by let's I mean everybody. Let's not all overreact to videos because we all saw the Nerlens Noel video at the end of last year. And we thought he was going to come back last year and just dunk on the NBA and like some at the end of last year, and it didn't happen. I mean, I'm sure he'll be fine or whatever like that. But I mean, that was nice to see. But I mean, I would hope that from that workout that somebody could have put together a 90-second video clip of him looking good. I mean, like, I'm so skeptical of videos. It's just that, I can, like, if you take a video, I can get you a video of, I don't know, whatever, Tyler Ennis or whatever, and then, you know, to give you a 3-minute video of him looking really good, looking like, you know, a top 5 pick, if I pick the right clip. So I'm a little worried about videos because I think you can make guys look better than they actually are in clips like that.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. Embiid, that was just showing his athleticism and that he's healthy enough. That's all it was. That's all you take away from that. You don't take away that he missed or that he made every shot he made. You just take away that he's physically out there.
Yeah, but well, personally, I really wasn't worried about it because I think, well, you actually because it's a back thing. I mean, it's like not, you know, it's not, you know, it's like you didn't. You know, it's not like a knee. I mean, I'd be more concerned if it was like an ACL tear or something. But it was one of those things that, you know, from my perspective, seemed like over time, you know, with time it would heal and then he would be fine and he would come back. I mean, I know there's some hesitation, but if I was a GM and I was, you know, interested in Embiid, that injury would not have prevented me from taking anyway. I mean, the video I guess helps, you know, some people, but to me, it's something I wouldn't worry about.
Yeah, that's just the residual effect from the Odin Durant draft because ever since then, everybody is afraid. And you still hear Sam Bowie, and that's like 30 years ago now that draft happened. So whenever there's a big man with any kind of injury history, I use some air quotes there, people get really scared, and rightfully so. I mean, this kind of decision alters your future for a long time.
Yeah. All right, so moving on. Right from the get-go, I wrote a piece about it. The second the Kings got the 8th pick, it was reported that they're looking to trade it and get a veteran. And obviously, the question of Thad came up. They had a deal in place last year. It fell apart. We don't really know why. What are your guys' thoughts on trading Thad? What do you think he's worth? We'll start with Kyle.
Well, I think a lot of us, or at least I have, been operating under the premise that if they were going to try to trade up from 10, it was going to cost them the pick and Thad. And I wrote a piece for LB. Like, I was a little skeptical of trading Thad just to trade him. Like, I think Thad is a good player, and he'll be a very good role player on a hopefully good team that the Sixers will be soon enough. But, I mean, if they have the opportunity to move him and maybe like the early second that they have, I would jump all over that. Now, it also depends on who's there. Like if they're at 8, there's one of the power forward trio. They're almost guaranteed that one of Gordon, Vonleh, or Randall will be there based on how the board is set up. And so if they can get one of them, I would be very happy to move Thad as much as I love him as a player and kind of a role model for these younger guys. But I want to see a duo of Wiggins and Gordon come out of this draft and just have the most athletic team in the league, run fast breaks and block shots, and that team would just be so fun. And I need that after this year. This year was too depressing. I need fun.
Yeah, just to kind of follow up on that. Yeah, I love Thad. I mean, Thad's, you know, he's been a good soldier. He's, you know, a guy. You know what you're going to get out of Thad pretty much every night. In a vacuum, Thad's probably worth a late first-round pick just by himself. But again, if you can put together a package of assets to kind of, I don't know if you have the Kings trade. I know there were rumors of the Kings trade last year. If you can put together some kind of package to kind of move up and maybe land another lottery pick that includes that, again, I'm not opposed to doing that. I mean, that's been great, but again, you have to get assets. You have to get talented players, you know, to put around the 4 guys that you have in MCW and Noel and whoever you draft with the 3 pick. And so, you know, and you know Thad's not going to be, he's not part of your future plan. So there's no reason why you should be hesitant, or anybody should be hesitant to kind of put him in a deal. He's going to get you another player that's going to be your foundation, part of your foundation for the next, you know, 6, 7, 8, 10 years.
Yeah, I think they trade Thad because while again, yes, you don't want to trade him just to trade him. You want to trade him while his value is at its highest. That's what that's where it's at right now. No matter what happens next year, when you bring in two lottery picks, 5 draft picks, whatever you bring in, if Kasemi or Furkan or Adamir come over, the focus of that team is going to be installing a system that's going to eventually help those guys develop and be a championship contending team. Thad's not part of that. He's just going to be the leader in the locker room, and they his head down and goes to work. So, I mean, maybe I'm under the impression that Thad and 32 could get you 7 or 8 and a young player back, because I don't know if someone would do that, but if I let's say you're the Lakers, and you have 7 and Steve. I know someone said Steve Nash is expiring. I saw that on Twitter. Like 7 and Steve Nash is expiring. This is not sourced or anything. For Thad Young and 32, gets you a quality player who can help you right now. They want to make the playoffs. Who can help you right now. And 32 gives you a pretty much a lock of a first-round quality talent, and also it's an unguaranteed contract where a team like that is strapped for cash. That's a pretty good deal for the Lakers' perspective. And you could also, if you move up with Thad to anything, you can then take 10 and trade back maybe to Phoenix with 14 and 27 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And maybe take 10 and 2 seconds to get 14 and 27. There's so many options that they can do. Do you guys think potentially trading back at 10 is something I think you could do?
I think if he gets the right value for it, he will, and that's what he's all about, is making moves that he really believes in. Like, he's not going to make a trade just to make a trade. He wants to feel like he wins. So I think if he gets like one of the Chicago, I know Chicago has 2. What are they at 16 and 19? Yeah. If he can pick up one of those and then like another asset, like maybe let's say another second or something like that, I think he would probably jump on that if the guys that are left on the board aren't really appealing to them. Like, I can't imagine, although I could be wrong, that McDermott is really high on their list based on the kind of guys that they've brought in. So if McDermott is like what's left, basically, I could definitely see them trading back.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's we saw last month with the Eagles. I mean, the guys they wanted, the 6 guys they wanted weren't there at 22. So if the guys that you target aren't there at your spot, it just makes sense for you to trade back and to pick up an extra pick or pick up some assets that'll help you down the road. So let's say hypothetically speaking, the Sixers are like me and Kyle on team Aaron Gordon, and the 8 guys you target whatever have you, because again, the guy you get, if your targets aren't there at 10, then the guys you get, the guy you get at 10 and the guy you get at, let's say, 14 or 16 are probably pretty close out, and from a value standpoint, the trade back aren't there.
Yeah. I will say, even though I put it out on Lottery Night, that the Kings are going to offer a lot to get Jabari at number 3, if that's how it unfolds, Embiid and Wiggins. I was going to tell you right now, I would bet my life, I really would, that Hinkie's not trading down from 3. There's a lot of options you can do at 10, but there's no, like, I heard on 97.5 this weekend that they're thinking about trading back from 3. It's not like the NFL draft. There's a clear divide in tiers. Like, he is not trading at 3. There's no way.
I mean, this whole year was about selling out so we could get a superstar level talent. And if you're trading back from 3 when there's maybe that top 3 is really like on its own as prospects, unless you want to include Exum in there. I personally haven't seen enough of him, so I can't really say. But you can't trade out of that tier after you stripped it down to reach that tier. So I don't think that's even if they were to try to put together a package for, let's say, Kevin Love, people have thrown that out there. But personally, you can't skip steps. Like, they're in a rebuild for a reason. So that they got to just stay the course, pick the best guy that's left there, and then figure it out from there.
Absolutely. So with that, last thing I want to ask you guys, what's the over/under for trades Sam Hinkie will pull on draft? I think he made 4 last year. And
oh, jeez.
They have 7 picks now. Roy, what's the over/under for trade Sam Hinkie's going to make?
All right, there's 7 picks. There's 5 second-rounders. There's no way that they're going to draft 7 guys. So there's going to be at least a couple of swaps of those second-round picks. Maybe package a couple of those guys to move up to the end of the first round. You said there were 4 trades last year. Oh, jeez. I think they stay at 3.
Drew.
I think they stay at 3. Yeah, Drew
3 guys and trade them in the seconds. I think that's 4.
Yeah, because it was like the. Jeez, I'm trying to remember all the trades from last year.
Glenn
Wright Jr. Yeah.
Walters and Ricky Lito, and they traded all of them.
Yeah. Jeez. So I think they stay at 3. I think they stay at 3 and 10, and they'll probably package those second rounders. Maybe get another one for next year. I'll go with 3. I'll go with 3 trades.
I was going to say the same thing. I think that's a fairly. I might be a conservative guess, but I don't see them moving from the top spots. But I definitely they're always going to be shuffling in the second round. So they'll throw a second rounder here, a second rounder there, and try to build up as like you did this year, just build up more assets. So I think that's what's going to end up happening. But I'll say 3 as well.
Yeah, three's a good number in Sixers history. But I'm going to say 3.5. I'm going to say 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah.
How do you make half a trade?
That's a heck of a move by Hinkie right there.
No. You put the over/under at 3.5.
Okay.
No, we'll do the 3. It'll be a push. Everybody gets their money back. It'll be cool.
I'm leaning more towards 4 than 3. I don't know.
Well, you know what? I mean, again, you have 5 second-round picks. I mean, there's no way you're taking them all. There's probably going to be some team that wants, like you said, a non-guaranteed contract that'll take one of those picks off your hands for, a 2014 second rounder or 2015 second rounder or whatever have you. So, there might be a point. There might be a point where you draft the guys you want, and then you just trade those guys all for picks next year and move up, move down, or whatever. So. I mean, there could easily be 4. There could easily be 5. I mean, I just don't want to be the person who has to write all the recap stuff for LB when it happens. I know that.
Yeah, I don't pretend to know what goes through Sam Hinkie's head. He's always quite a few steps ahead of me. So
yeah,
I think I'll stray away from making too many bold predictions about the draft.
Yeah, if you go trying to step into Sam Hinkie's road, you might never make it out alive.
I'll be buried under second-round picks.
All right, guys. It's Sunday, May 25th. The Spurs and Thunder are about to tip off. Serge Ibaka's back. We got Game of Thrones tonight.
Here we go. I
appreciate you guys joining me. I think we'll come out and take another before once we know who the teams worked out and stuff like that. But for now, take it easy, guys, and thanks for hanging out with me.
No problem. See you, dudes.
Let's do it again.